Hey y'all, this is Kobe R. Rice, and I'm back again for another weekly creative update. You're gonna have to excuse, for those of you who are watching the vlog version of this, please excuse my like the darkness of the video. And actually, I should have adjusted my mic before I came on, but it is what it is. Sorry, I'm a little unprepared today because this is actually gonna be really quick. I have, as usual, a lot of work I have to do before class, during class, after class. So I just wanted to come on and give you guys a quick update. But just as a reminder, or actually not even a reminder because a lot of you wouldn't have known this, during the week, like not on a Monday, I had realized that I had just hit my fifth creative birthday, meaning that it is officially year number 5 that I had decided to really change my entire direction as like a woman and as like a career woman, turning from the path of academia and going very firmly onto the path of creative entrepreneurship, because I sort of made that decision to start training myself creatively and moving towards a creative career in the fall of 2012. So once that hit me, I realized that I should do what I call like a 5-year creative birthday update. And that is episode number 41. So if you want to check that out and just see like literally how much I've grown personally and creatively over the past 5 years, literally going from no novels, no creative training, no progress, like no nothing, to where I am today. I feel like, that was a really great podcast and like a series of lessons and sort of like a nice resume of what I've been doing up until this point. And I'm really ready to jump into the next 5 years. Not only continuing my training, but also creating more products, creating, more novels, definitely creating more films, working on, my first game for the game development aspect of my career. And so, yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. Excited about that. Excited about the potential growth of Rebel Ragdoll as a media brand and as a company. And if you want more details on that, definitely check out my last podcast episode, number 41, entitled My Creative Birthday. So, this week's update is going to be relatively short because, to be very honest with you, I am still mostly drowning in graduate school work, and most of what I would have to tell you is not really that interesting. So just wrapping up, grading literally over 1,000 assignments and then having to collate and alphabetize those. It just at first, like, I went into the whole project like, yeah, I'm good. This is just a part of what I do. And then towards the end, I'm just like, yo, this is just way too much for the money that we are getting. Not trying to be ungrateful, but that's how I felt towards the end of the process, because it was literally taking so long. Like, it took me like a good 5 hours to alphabetize and collate some student papers. Not because I don't know my alphabet, but because that is just how many assignments we have had in the first month of the semester. But now we're like firmly in week 6. I literally calculated on a calculator like how far along I am in this semester, and I am approximately 37.5% of the way to the end of the semester. Like, that is how stressed out I am about graduate school. It's so sad. Um, oh, okay, I brightened the screen and it made my face look brighter. That's nice. Um, so yeah, I mean, I've just been pretty much drowning in graduate school. Graduate school destroys again. Doing the TA-ship. I think I mentioned this in my last podcast episode, but I have officially finished cutting my first film project. I think it's pretty good, but then I got feedback from my professor who thinks it's solid work, but there's like places in which I can improve. And, it's true, so I'm really enjoying the feedback process because, not really because I'm concerned with the grade. Like, I really don't care about that at all. I just care about becoming a better editor and essentially like building my skills. And he's really helping out with his very detailed and very insightful feedback. So the next project on that particular vein is the Sucker Punch project, which is great, because that project comes with like more stuff to deal with sounds, with music, with special effects, with mixing, and it also comes with the script and the script supervisor notes. And so it's more footage to deal with, and we get to basically cut the entire, like I think it's like an entire short film. Like we get to cut two segments of that short film, but I think after I'm done cutting those two specific segments, I'm going to like put the whole thing together just to see how it looks. And it's great because again we're using more elements, so that's more exciting. Let's see. So that's like the big major thing. Everything else is pretty much just chugging along. Again, not really that interesting. But one big thing that I did do last week is that I went to the theater to see this new production called Celia a Slave, which is an amazing, amazing play written by Barbara Seda. And when I read the play, I was blown away. And if you guys know me, if you've heard my critiques on the recent Confederate series that is coming out on HBO in 2018 or 2019, and you know my thoughts about slave narratives and how prolific they are in our society, you know that I'm not a fan of those slave narratives. But Celia a Slave specifically is doing some very interesting, compelling things, especially when it comes to language, visual, and I don't mean like visual as though like Barbara's writing or as though Barbara's illustrating like literal portraits. She doesn't paint portraits with paint or color. She paints them with words, and she really just did an excellent, excellent job at writing this play. If you guys have an opportunity, you should definitely pick it up and read it. It not only is an amazing story about a woman who's really not known to like the larger narrative, when you think about the slave narrative. It tells that amazing story, but it also just does it in a super compelling, very visceral way, which is amazing. And I saw a production recently, its first major production, and it made me. And this is no insult to Barbara at all, but I felt as though the production itself, having nothing to do with the playwright, could have done some things that were a little bit more impactful and theatrical. And I didn't feel as though the wonderful, amazing text that I had read was fully realized on the stage. One person that I talked to about that play basically said that this was good for like a staged reading sort of thing, but that the next production should definitely take advantage of more of the theatrical elements and really just take more seriously the impact and the power of the language in the play. Because the language is just so, and I don't mean the slurs, I mean just just the certain words that she chose to use, the ways in which she brings all the characters of this narrative to life, whether they are black slaves, black freedmen, white people, white slave owners, spectators of the event. She brings each one of them to life in such a vivid, amazing way. And I just don't feel as though her words and the power of the play was truly realized or respected on the stage. And so I say all this to say that I am starting to realize in real life and in real time the ultimate importance of having a dramaturg on your productions. And it's important, it's important. You really need one. I didn't understand what a dramaturg does until I got really to the end of my first year, and more so to the beginning of this year, and I started to understand the kind of insights that I have into work and into plays and into pieces. But they needed a dramaturg, they needed a black dramaturg, and they needed a dramaturg who got along well with the playwright, so that that dramaturg can be the advocate for the playwright in the actual room. And there were just things dealing with the structure of the production, even with the enunciation of certain actors' monologues, with just the staging and the blocking that I felt could have been maximized in order to really bring the play to life. And so this is not me trying to come in like an expert at all, because it's very hard to stage a theater piece, and it's very hard to stage good theater. So, I mean, I applaud the theater that I went to for the efforts that they made, but I felt as though a lot of things were really left on the table. And if they had a dramaturg in the room, being the objective perspective with a historical, cultural grounding in the material and in the experience, they really could have done a lot to tighten up that production. And so I just really started to understand not only the dramaturg's role in real, on the ground theater, but I started to understand my role personally. And that was a really impactful experience for me. I'll be going to see another show that's opening very soon. Maybe I'll go see that. Maybe I'll go see it this weekend or next weekend. But it's called Building the Wall, which has a lot of modern day contemporary significance, obviously, looking at the political climate. So I'm looking forward to that. And we'll see what happens. So I don't know. It's just interesting that the first year that I got here, I felt very divorced from the theater world. And to a certain extent, I'm still crossing the chasm between myself and theater. But I feel like I'm learning some really valuable skills this year and really coming into myself as a dramaturg. And as a result, am more drawn to going to theater pieces in town. And I guess it's especially because, my like I told you guys before, my two friends that were in the program, they left. And it's weird. It's like I never had any like major desire to go see things in town, because I guess maybe I was like leaning on my friendships, like just like for downtime and just to like chill and decompress. And now it's like I'm actively looking for shows to attend, not because I'm trying to quell like this empty space inside, but because I just feel, I don't know, when you're sort of isolated or just doing things on your own, you tend to seek yourself more. And so I guess I'm seeking my theater self more now that I'm in this theater program, and I'm in this town with amazing theater. And I hope that when I finally end up graduating and leaving here, I will continue to seek myself in theater even more. And I think a big reason why I'm seeking myself in theater is because I now have started to develop a language with which I can interpret and understand the theater world. I feel like there was a really big gap between myself and theater, not just physically, but sort of intellectually and historically, because I don't think I had the tools, the knowledge, the critical skills, or the language to really translate what I was seeing on stage into something that made sense to my life. And just being in graduate school, being in graduate school and being a graduate student has really, really helped me to start to close that gap and to understand who I am as a theater maker, potential theater maker. And that's really exciting. It's really exciting to finally see at least a small, teeny tiny part of yourself reflected in a part of the artistic world, especially in the part of the world that you never really understood. So that's just a sort of update as to where I am as a developing individual and as a dramaturg and as like a theater person. And when I leave this program, I don't know if I'll be making theater like on a regular basis. It's more likely that I'll be making film and publishing novels and stuff like that. Excuse me. But at least I will have the tools that I need to have in order to dive into theater and to engage with theater. And I really do feel as though I am fulfilling a necessary skill set that has been missing from the entire toolbox that I'm trying to build. And I did not feel that way the first year, because the first year, again, was chock full of theater theory and history and context, and not really dealing with multicultural issues or Black contributions to the theater. And I felt like it was very not only just sort of boring theory that didn't feel very connected to the practical applications of theater, but that it also was very westernized and anglicized. And, there's nothing wrong with getting that perspective. And I get that there has been a canon that has been developed in academia, but I really am at a point in my life where I want to step more into my identity and my intellectuality from like a very black centered place, and like a place that is centered in my womanliness, in my person of coloredness, in my sexuality-ness, my sexiness. I don't know how to describe, like, a person's sort of physical sexuality and carnal being, but like, things that like deal directly with my experience as a black woman, as a woman of color, and as like a mother. And because I'm at that place in my life, I was very impatient with the theater world as I sort of became more integrated into the academic system here, because I felt as though my experience is valid, this experience of my ancestors is valid, the contributions of black theater makers and playwrights and female theater makers and playwrights is valid, so why aren't we studying those? And so I spent the first year pretty much like doing what I was supposed to do, but kind of just rolling my eyes at the fact that like we were still studying old dead white guys, or not that we don't have to study them, but like, can we study them in tandem with like the whole bunch of other people? Like, there are Asian, Japanese, Chinese, like East Asian, Southeast Asian theater makers. There are Black, African, Afro-Caribbean, theater makers. There are Cuban, Mexican, Latino, Latinx theater makers. There are female, queer, transgender theater makers. Like, I was just really upset that we weren't learning about everybody, because if we had, I would have felt as though the knowledge that I gained my first year was more applicable to modern theater. But you can't really go back and change the past, but I did make my concerns very, very well known, and I did vocalize those. So and consequently, I mean, that was me and my two friends doing that, but consequently I'm seeing some very significant changes this semester in the syllabi and in the areas of study. So just goes to show, if you don't like the way something's being done, speak up and advocate for yourself. Like I said in episode number 39, you need to advocate for yourself and for your needs, no matter how many people it pisses off. And somebody will listen. If they value you, they will listen. It's like being in a relationship. If they want to stay in the relationship with you, they have to meet you halfway, and vice versa. So that's how I feel right now. Really short today, not anything long and crazy. Again, because of graduate school being cray-cray, I literally, like quite literally, only got 150 words written. I know you can hate me, throw rocks at me, like just, I deserve it. Only 150 words for the entire week of last week is deplorable and disgusting. And I'm sorry. So I'm doing what I can to kind of like clean up and wrap up the projects for this week so that I can get back on track. But it looks like my word count for September is going to be pretty abysmal. And, I'm not very happy about that. But, it is what it is. And the only thing we can really do is like keep trying the next day and the next day and the next day. So, this weekend should be a really nice catch-up weekend, a good way to kind of kick off October. And speaking of kicking off October, before I sign off, I just want to let you guys know that New Adult Noir is still doing still doing our monthly free books giveaway and our monthly series discovery promos. So that is still up. I still have the links below for you guys. So make sure you go and get your free dark and gritty reads, and go check out, new series and everything like that. And just go get like some really awesome, go get your life, go get your free, book, Dark and Gritty Life. And we also have a giveaway for readers opening up this Sunday. Actually, secretly, guys, it's already open. So just go to newadultnoir.com. That's newadultnoir.com. And check out our Fright Fest giveaway. We're giving away a free 100% free Amazon Echo Dot, along with a collection of spooky books, and it's currently being sponsored by 15 authors, I believe. So it's a really small kind of, high impact giveaway, but there will be a winner, and everybody who enters the giveaway will get a prize. So if you guys are interested in casting your lot with us and trying your luck with us, definitely join that giveaway. And that is a part of, the monthly, not even monthly, we have like giveaways pretty much like every other month. We have 6 major giveaways for the year, and everybody wins, everybody gets their prizes. I've heard no complaints. People love their prizes. People love getting free things anyway when they enter. And like I said, all entrants and contestants win a prize, so you can't lose. So please just join and have some fun with us this October. And what else? Oh, I'll end with this. So even though I haven't written, I've only written 150 words this week, and I haven't really written that much beyond that. Something really incredible happened where a play trilogy literally walked its way into my mind, because we were in devising class today, and basically our teacher was talking about Nuremberg, and the Nuremberg trials. And I don't know if I'm ready to talk about my play trilogy just yet, but I started a trial play, a sort of trial play last semester that was kind of like jokey, tongue-in-cheek, and not really like that serious, even though I wanted it to be serious. For whatever reason, there were just like all these jokes coming out. And it was like very disjointed and just like bad. And like, well, there were some parts that were good, but just like, it wasn't as theatrical as it could be. But I'm going to rework that play into this play trilogy. And we're going to be putting some folks on trial, y'all. Basically is what I have to say. We're going to be putting some institutions on trial, some past aggressors on trial, some people, some groups on trial, some concepts, some ideas on trial. And it's going to be a play trilogy. I know exactly the order in which the trilogy is going to be and which trial is going to be where. And I know what the title of the play trilogy is going to be. And I'm just super excited. I already told my idea to my mentor and one of my closest friends. And they're both super excited about the concept. And right now, it's honestly just about exploring that and developing that and getting to a very raw and visceral place with those plays, and just working on it. So that's definitely something that it'd be nice to finish this play trilogy, at least the first draft of it, at the end, by the end of my program stay here. And I know you guys think I'm pretty crazy adding yet another major project to this list, but I need to write this trilogy. Like, I believe in divine intervention and inspiration, and it doesn't necessarily have to connect with religion particularly, but with spirituality. And I believe that when you have a voice calling you or telling you to do something, or something that pops into your head, or an idea that pops into your head, you need to listen to it, especially if the idea is brilliant. And I'm sorry, but like, the execution might not be on point for me right now, but the idea itself is freaking brilliant. And I have no problem putting that label on that idea, because it literally walked its way from the ether into my mind and was like, this is yours to do. This is what you need to like put out into the world. So get it together. And so I'm excited, and I'll be talking to my mentor and my friend more about the development of this play. And just generally the development of my skills as a playwright. My mentor once told me that because I just didn't feel confident in my skills, I don't feel strong in that area. I really don't. I don't feel strong in my playwriting skills at all. And which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But my mentor basically asked me straight up. She said, well, I mean, how much do you let your playwright come out to play? And I said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't let my playwright out to play. I let the novelist out to play. I definitely let the filmmaker out to play. The filmmaker's out here just, frolicking in like a field of flowers and butterflies, and taking this class over there and writing this script over there, or this scene over there, watching this movie and analyzing it over there. I let those two out. I even let the game designer out more often because I give thought to game design. Even if I'm not designing a game, I'm thinking about it. I'm thinking about like, and I'm looking at classes, I'm learning new things, I'm paying attention to the industry, I'm playing games. But the playwright literally gets no time out. And so the playwright is pretty much atrophied. And so, as like a goal for myself, maybe not for this chunk of the year because I have other quarter number 4 goals for this year. But as a major goal for 2018 is to like just let the playwright out a little bit more. And maybe I can do that in, like little small spurts and not put so much pressure on myself to produce something brilliant and long, but just to sit down and literally maybe write like a page a day, like a 1 minute play, and then move on with my day. So I'm thinking about doing that. I actually started doing that when I first got here with my screenwriting. And it was called the Dreamer 135 Project. And I would get up almost every day for like 2 weeks and write like a little mini 1 minute script, 1 minute, 3 minute, or 5 minute script. That's why it was called the Dreamer 135 Project, based on what I remember from my dreams and what I felt was impactful. And that didn't last too long because graduate school again comes in to kick my ass. So I really have no, like, I do have a lot of nerve, like trying to get up and write 1 minute plays and letting the playwright out to play when I still can't even get my novel writing done. But still, it's important to recognize that these are all skills that I want to build. And I definitely want to get my playwright out of its basement, out of the closet, like, just at least for the few projects that I have lined up. I might not be the most prolific playwright out there, but when I do write a project, I want it to be good. So there are essentially 3 major projects, like playwriting projects that I have on my slate. One is a play trilogy that I'm thinking about. The other one is a project called A Life of the Mind, which is like a series of like 1 minute, 3 minute, and 5 minute plays dealing with the human brain. And that actually is something I really do want to do and finish, because it not only is just good practice, but it helps me to really understand, because I'm learning more about the brain, about dreams, about psychology, specifically because I wouldn't say I'm working on actively, but I'm developing 2 novel trilogies that deal specifically with dreams, brain functionality, and like the potential of the mind. And these 2 trilogies are called Asylum and the Sentient Trilogy. And so as a part of my research, I'm researching not just like the brain, but like brain disorders, how dreams work, Jungian psychology, dream psychology, psychoanalysis, neuroscience, technology and brain tech. Like, I'm just researching everything having to do with like our most powerful tool in the world. And the Life of the Mind playwriting project will be a great way to help me synthesize all of this research and material, and then help me to basically produce 3 major properties: the Asylum trilogy, the Sentient trilogy, and the Life of the Mind play series. So that's series number 2. And the third one is basically like a series that I need to write to heal some trauma that I went through in childhood. I mean, I'm just dead serious. It's called I think it's called The Memories I Never Had. Yes, that is what it's called. And that's actually my best work yet. I mean, in terms of quality and in terms of like theatricality. And it is my best work because it's coming from a very raw and real place. And so that's something I want to develop. So those 3 projects I'm working on are extremely important to me, and they might just be my only projects ever, and I have no problem. I mean, I would love to get them produced when they get to the level of quality that I want. But if those are my only 3 projects, and even if I independently publish my own plays, like, that's okay, because I feel like I'm fulfilling that role in my life, and I'm bringing those stories to life in and through a medium through which they will resonate the best and the most. So I guess in conclusion, The novelist is out. It's having fun, even though it feels a little stifled. The screenwriter and filmmaker is definitely out here, just taking all the classes, gaining all the knowledge. They have also decided that they want to be a VFX and SFX editor in addition to creative editing. So then, like, that's happening, along with learning directing and all this other stuff. The game designer is also out running around having fun, learning things, being present, playing games, paying attention. And now the playwright is going to be out, and stretching its legs and training in the training room. And at some point I'll take it for a nice run, and take it for like a go on the obstacle course that is my life. So that's me. That's my creative update for this week. If I didn't get much done on paper, I certainly get a lot done intellectually, spiritually, and growth wise. And so that's always really great. And I will see you guys next Monday. Monday for sure, because I have this weekend is pretty much like flexible, with an update on what I've done this week from this past Monday all the way up to this Sunday. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for sticking with me in the shortest podcast I think I've done yet. And I will see you guys next week. Stay creative, stay badass, and just keep hitting that pavement, because the world needs your voice. So that's all I have to say. Mwah. Bye.